My name is Emanuele.
My name is Mary. We are from Italy. We've been in Australia for 7 years.
And we decided to leave Sydney and start our half lap of Australia, our Landcruiser 105 series. So we just started, we just left Sydney. We are at the very beginning. Our plan is to go to Queensland, Northern Territory and Western Australia. So we had this car for about 3 years, I would say.
Yeah.
We bought it used, of course. It's a 1998 Landcruiser 105 series, and it was box stock originally, and it's still not too crazy. We put some stuff on it that helps us for our trip and for four-wheel driving, for going around Australia. The furthest we've been is Fraser Island. We've been there 2 years ago for Christmas, for 2 weeks overall. We left Sydney and we stayed on the island for 5-6 days, and it was amazing. Never a problem, and well, amazing times. The engine is a 4.5 liter petrol. No modification at the engine at all so far, except for the snorkel. And being a petrol is of course very thirsty. But yeah, it's almost never had the mechanic, never had a problem, never had a serious problem, of course, and has a lot of power. Being a petrol, we bought this car for $8,000, which is really cheap for what we can do with this car. So our car suspension mod is basically a 2-inch lift from Lovells. We installed this kit just before Fraser Island, actually, because we wanted to have a little bit of peace of mind, especially in very soft sand. It was quite expensive because we didn't install this kit ourselves. We let a professional do the dirty job, but yeah, now it's a lot better off-road, and the drive is so much smoother and nicer. Another modification we've done is the snorkel, of course. That's simply to, take the air a little bit more higher, clean air, avoiding getting water in, what the snorkel is for. And that's quite a cheap snorkel from eBay. It's not really fancy or anything. We installed it ourselves, and it's been nice so far. So the bower on our car, in the front we have a cheap Chinese Bullbar. It was originally made for the 100 series, not for these chassis. So the 100 and the 105 series have different chassis. So we tried to make some brackets and to fit this bar onto this 105 series. I mounted four-wheel drive supercenter winch on the car. I've used it a couple of times, more for other cars than for myself, luckily. And we also have the 7-inch spotties from four-wheel drive supercenter as well. We don't do a lot of night driving, but it's just good to have some spotties there just in case. You never know, honestly. And we also mounted a Uniden aerial on the Bullbar. We have a UHF in the car. Again, you never know. You never know if you don't have any reception, and if luckily there's other cars around, you can always call for help, or if you need anything at all. So basically on the side we have this side step. They're made for this car, and that definitely helped me when we went four-wheel driving, especially in the Blue Mountains, when some rocky tracks. It's good to keep the car out of trouble. In the back instead we have a Kmart rear bar, the Aussie bar, with a spare wheel carrier and a jerry can holder. We invested quite a bit of money on the rear bar. We wanted to have something solid, something that won't let us down. Even if we want to change our car, we can put this rear bar in another Landcruiser. The tires we have they are 33-inch tire from Kumho, installed again just before Fraser Island. The rims are original from Toyota. So we bought a rooftop tent from Kings, and we used it already a couple of times.
Just on the weekend.
Yeah, we used to have a swag before, but now with the rooftop tent we have a little bit more, peace of mind if you sleep in some, I don't want to say dangerous places, but if there's animal around or stuff. And it's a lot quicker to set up and pack up when you're leaving. The cooking setup is fairly simple. We wanted to keep it simple because we're traveling for 6 months and we don't want to have to mess in the back of the car. We have a companion 3-gas cooker, and it's quite powerful. I think it's like 50,000 BTU, which is like one of the highest I've seen around. And that's to boil water a lot faster, especially in windy conditions. The pantry setup again is really simple and basic. We have a kit from Companion, which is made by 1 pan and 2 pots, all stackable, one inside the other. The storage setup in our car again is all made by us. So we have 2 drawers from four-wheel drive supercenter. They used to be one next to each other, but when we bought a fridge, we decided to change the setup just to keep the fridge a little bit lower in the back of the car. So we moved the drawers one on top of each other. We also built the fridge cage ourselves.
Yep.
We bought some wood from Bunnings and we do a very simple cage around the fridge. The fridge we have in the back is a four-wheel drive supercenter fridge, 60 liter. We use it quite a while and it's okay. I mean, it's nothing too fancy. It's like a single zone. So it can be either a fridge or a freezer, can be bought at the same time. But for what we need, it's actually more than enough. We actually weren't sure which fridge to get, the 45 or the 60 liter, because of this, space in the back. But yeah, we end up getting the 60. I think it's probably the best choice. We also removed the back seat on the car just to have a little bit more space for when we travel, to keep all our clothes or our tools, spare parts. We don't have any trailer or anything, so we have to fit everything inside the car. The space is really a premium in this car. Again, using Bunning woods, try to draw up some sketch and put it together, and seems to be working for the moment. Our basic camping setup is made by these chairs from Super Chipotle.
Yep.
The table is from Bunnings, the lifetime table, the plastic one, really sturdy, really amazing. We never had any problem with that one. We also set up the water system inside the car. We have a front runner 50-liter water tank, and plus a jerry can in the back on the rear bar. Done the plumbing myself. So 12 volts, I have a secondary battery from Kick-Ass in the back. Put it just behind the fridge. That's a 120 amp hours battery, deep cycle, AGM. And I've done all the 12 volts set up myself. Again, we tested a couple of times and we never had a problem. So I've got a DC to DC charger from Kick-Ass. It's 25 amps. It's always, when we're driving, it's not really a problem, and it's always keeping our battery really topped up. And when we're not driving, we have also a solar input. So we have a solar blanket from, I think we bought it from eBay, but it's a quite good solar blanket with the European standards from Germany, I think it is. And it's a 200 watts a blanket, and it's charging in good condition. It can pump up probably 5 to 7 amps, something like that. So I think it's pretty good. A 1500 watts power inverter, and it's all wired together in a fuse box, a 12 in and out fuse box, powering the fridge, powering the lights in the back, powering the water pump for the water tank. Yeah, the battery monitor from Projecta. That's just to keep monitoring the battery levels while we are on road. Things I would like to do to my car. One thing is the rims. I would like to get a negative offset on my rims to have a little bit wider tires. After we put the lift kit on, I could notice the car being a little bit more unstable, especially four-wheel driving, and even more with the rooftop tent. There's a lot of weight, not a lot of weight, but it's like 50 kilos on top in the roof rack, which is the worst spot possible where you want to put weight. So yeah, having a wider tires will help. So the least favorite feature about this car, it's a petrol. So it's a petrol engine, and it's pros and cons, of course. There's a lot of power, it's easy maintenance, cheap maintenance, but it's really thirsty. So we're averaging about 25 liters per 100k, which is 4 kilometers per liter. Pretty crazy, but again, it's a compromise. It was a cheap car, thirsty engine. You have to spend your money somewhere. So the favorite feature of the car is the car itself. It's really amazing. Being a solid axle in the front, it gives us a lot of off-road capabilities. We never bog almost, and even when we go on rocky terrains, rock climbing, for being like a cheap car like this one, it's unstoppable, honestly. And the maintenance is super simple. We do our servicing. It's a simple engine. It's a simple engine bay. It's easy to use, and it's just amazing. Like I wouldn't change it, honestly. We're gonna be traveling to Queensland this week. Maybe we're gonna stay a couple of days in this area to explore it a bit around. And then we have a border pass permit for Queensland expiring Sunday this week. So that gives us 5 days to cross the border. Yeah, and once we cross the border, we try to explore as much as we can. We're actually meeting up with a couple of our friends on Fraser Island and on Cairns a little bit later. And yeah, we want to explore Queensland. It's probably we've seen a little bit of New South Wales, but Queensland has been, we need to discover it. Yeah. What would you like to see in Queensland?
Can't wait to go to Cape York.
Cape York, right?
Yeah,
That's
to be honest,
that's on the
yeah.
bucket list.
Yeah. So guys, if you wanna follow us on our trip, we are on Instagram with the 105 couple.
And add in and follow us on our trip.
That was easy.
Awesome, guys. Good on you. All right.
Thanks.